The BRICS countries now outweighed or outpaced the G7 in terms of GDP.
Big Shy, I think before we continue with this conversation, I think we'll have to look for how to understand which countries makes BRICS. Let it not be as if BRICS countries are invincible. We'll have to understand who they are, how they are, and their economic stamina in front of the world, and how technological they are advanced.
For me, that was not a surprise, but as opposed to some of the Western countries, they thought it was a shock or a surprise. But for me, it is not. I suppose there is a way they measure these things. But hey, it is now official and confirmed. The BRICS countries are on the move, non-stop. Nothing can stop the BRICS summit right now.
Before we delve deep, BRICS countries make up of B, which is Brazil, R, which is Russia, I, which is India, and C, China. S is what? South Africa. Okay, now, let's go back to what do you mean by BRICS. They are here to challenge the global dominance of the Western nations. They make up of 7 countries, which is, let's say, Canada, US, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK. You understand? These countries came up to make up G7, the world's most powerful economists and the world's most powerful countries. That is what they called the G7. Okay, if we should progress, the BRICS have outweighed the G7 by what indices? Can you tell me the indices? I even love it that you've admit that, okay, there is how these things is being done. You should have stated out, let's know. Is it by purchasing power? It is true that the 11 countries that made up of BRICS do what? Have 40% of the world population, which is China, we know, India, they have very high population. And apart from that, Russia is the most largest country on earth. We understand that, but that doesn't make them the first world economists. You know, I understand that India is growing. We know when China surpasses Japan, that is a credit to them. We know when India also surpasses Japan. It's just a few days ago, you know, I should say that. But the way you are bringing it up, your narrative is like GDP is being measured on a daily basis. It is not, bro. I understand that the high population of the BRICS countries can give them a high purchasing power, which is PPP. You understand? So that is the only reason why you see the GDP under high purchasing power of the BRICS nation surpasses that of a G7. That is the only thing that makes them skyrocketed up to that level, you understand? That is not an achievement if you refuse to understand, because last time I checked, an average level salary earner in any of the G7 country and double, if not triple, of that of any of the BRICS country. It is still bouncing back to the GDP, if you don't know, which is the gross domestic product. Then the industry, apart from China and India, which one? Can you compare that to Japan? Can you compare that to France? Can you compare Indian industrialization to that of the US? Okay, let's check. The US last year traded 30 trillion US dollars. Then check it. The whole BRICS GDP, making up 11 countries, traded with 31.32 trillion US dollars. Then the G7 trade at 43 trillion US dollars. And how are they outweighing them? These guys have the world standard most powerful economists. These guys have the world standard most powerful institution. These guys have the world standard most powerful industries. What about technologies? What about AI systems and quantum computing, which the Chinese companies are stealing from? These are some of those things you have to check those indices and bring it up to bay. Let's check out the pharmaceutical, which the BRICS countries rely on the US innovative powers, including AI, ICs, to industrialize and renovate their own old schools industrial powers. How do you judge that?
First of all, let me say the absence of President Xi, the Chinese president, did not really make much of a distraction or much of an impact in a negative way, not at all. The summit went really well.
Please listen to this. When you are talking about the absence of Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader, I made a video yesterday trying to explain why the absence of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin has made a significant influence. Just listen to this analysis.
And for the first time, China's president has declined to attend. This seen as a huge blow for fellow BRICS founder and host country Brazil. Prior to the summit, China had failed to convince BRIC foreign ministers to take a more aggressive position against President Donald Trump's tariff war. One of the forum's achievements has been the creation of a development bank for the Global South as an alternative to the World Bank.
What is happening? Then let's look at the political dynamics between countries. Are you aware that the China are not helping the Indians in their economic growth? Chinese are fighting the Indians for regional economic dominance. And the Indians are not smiling at all. Check out what is happening in the Brazilian bloc. They are having political instability. Then check out the South Africans. They are also facing political instability, economic growth, and corruption. What is going on in Brazil? Drug cartels fighting. A lot is going on around these places. And you are not making mention of them, you go. And I'm seeing the BRICS being the most noisiest neighbors out there. You like talking. BRICS has successfully. Every day when Vladimir Putin said, you say he has delivered a powerful message. Are you going to use the powerful message, or you are going to use the powerful innovation, powerful economy, powerful industries, powerful money in order for you to succeed and counter the global dominance of the G7? This is just nothing but the common sense. Just watch this video from the Indian channel and understand what is happening to show that we would still need to learn the hardware.
Do you know what is the top-selling electronic product in the world? The smartphone. The market is worth over $600 billion, and for years, China ruled it. But now India is closing in. This year, India became the world's second largest maker of phones. And this seems to have rattled China. First, they dismissed India's rise. They launched social media campaigns and spread racist jibes like this one. Check if Indian phones smell like curry. That narrative failed to gain traction. So now, instead of stepping up their game, the Chinese are trying to pull India back. China is sabotaging India's phone manufacturing. Tonight, we will tell you how. And we'll start with